So let's start over. So based on the information I have, no protesters are allowed on school property. School property is not public property. School property is owned by the school district.
If you ask a police officer why he or she became a cop, they're conditioned to say to serve and protect. Case laws like Castle Rock v. Gonzalez will tell you that statement of serve and protect is a misnomer and most certainly not true. Police officers are allowed to lie via Supreme Court. We got another new channel, folks. This guy reached out to me and sent me this video. What baffles me is how police officers don't seem to know that people have rights. This is a short video. Let's go and subscribe. Let's show them some support. And let's make sure that these schools are teaching our kids the right curriculum and stop with the nonsense that's going on in these schools. All right, folks, here's your video.
You're making contact with the subject on school property. Stand by. How you doing, sir? I'm Officer Rodriguez with the Georgetown Police Department. I see your identification. I believe you're on school property, and I don't believe you're allowed to be on school property.
School property is private property, is public property paid for by the taxpayers. I have every right to be on here. Here's what before you lose your qualified immunity, I think you should reach out to Lieutenant Worsham. Tell him Lieutenant Worsham, Rector. I have his email.
Okay.
This is 100% public property. I have every right to be here. You're going to lose your qualified immunity, and I'm going to sue you if you try to move me off public property. And Texas is not an ID state. You have no right to ask me for ID unless I've committed a crime.
Okay. So let's start over. So based on the information I have, no protesters are allowed on school property. School property is not public property. School property is owned by the school district.
Authoritarians, they want the money and the power. When the cameras come out, they get fearful and cower. The wise recognize a coward dies 1,000 deaths. What's left but for us to do what's right? Social consciousness not being taught in sociology, but sexuality is being taught in today's biology. Knowledge of your human rights being dumbed down by psychology, despotism, capitalism, socialism. We forgot the wisdom, and now we're sitting in a broken system.
Which is paid for by taxpayers' dollars.
Number two.
You've got to Google public property.
Number two, the reason I'm asking you for identification is because based on that assumption, with that information that I have at hand, you're committing the criminal act of criminal trespassing.
No, I have
Once
to be...
you commit a criminal act or a suspicion of a criminal act, the failure to ID law applies until requesting your ID.
That's a secondary charge.
So
secondary charge.
The primary
3802. What does 3802
The
say?
primary charge is criminal trespassing.
What is 3802?
And before I can continue my investigation of criminal trespassing,
I'm not
I
talking
would
to
need
you
your
anymore.
identification.
Nope.
May I ask for your identification, sir? Because you're
You
on
can
school
ask.
property.
I'm not going to give it to you.
That's fine, sir. No problem. Yeah, you want to give me your name or anything like that?
I'm not going to give you anything. I don't even have to talk to you.
Okay.
Here's what's going to happen. I guarantee you, by the time I get home, this is going to be uploaded
That's
to your
fine.
chief. And you're going to learn about 3802. You're going to learn about losing your...
3802.
What is
3802 is for
3802?
failure to ID. I'm here for criminal trespassing, and criminal trespassing...
I have to be warned.
Okay.
I have to be warned first before...
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
So here's the thing.
So the information is incorrect that none of the trespassers were warned to stay over there for the rest of your colleagues on public property,
What
which is
penal
the
statute is
sidewalk.
that? What
which
penal
is
code?
the sidewalk over there. But you
What
said
penal code?
warned.
What penal
And
code?
so have you been warned before?
What penal code?
Have you been warned before?
Give me a statute.
You stated that you needed to be warned before.
How many
Why don't we do
complaints
this?
with IA do you have?
Then why don't we do this?
How many complaints with IA do you have?
Then I'm going to politely ask you to step off.
And I'm going to deny
Step
because of the
off
way you
school
came
property
up. Because of the way
and
you
go
came
over
up.
there with the rest of your colleagues. City properties anywhere from the sidewalk and the easement onto the street, public street.
Who
This
funds
is public, private property.
who funds school districts?
Not a problem, sir.
Who funds school districts? Call you lieutenant before you get a big lawsuit.
No problem. Go ahead and stay here. As of right now, you're being detained for criminal trespassing and failure to ID. Okay?
Okay, then I refuse to talk. Sir, have you ever heard of public school? Have you ever heard of public school?
And they don't mind having you on school property, then it's not a problem.
I have a child here. What are they going to do? I'd love for you to kick me off this so I could sue you. Please, lock me up. Do it. I would love it.
If you're here,
It would be $100,000 easy.
To your parent,
I don't, and you know what? I don't have to,
that's quite all right.
and I don't have to disclose any of that to you. I don't have to talk to you at all. You're lucky I even talked to you whatsoever. But you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to offer the education because you need it. And when you're out there in my community, talking to people the way you are, it hurts. You ever heard of community policing?
Yes.
So do me a favor, Google public school, see who funds it, and it's my tax dollars. And then that means you don't have a right to tell people to leave.
Okay.
It's not a private building. And this is the First Amendment, called freedom of speech. I hope you're not a training officer. It's gonna look horrible on you. Horrible. Instead of you apologizing and making this better, you just want to stand there like, oh, I'm right. And you're gonna be wrong. And you're gonna leave before I do. You're probably not gonna apologize, because I'm guessing you're not the men who will admit their mistakes and say, you know what, sir, in public.
I'm going to tell you one more time. What I am doing is that I'm verifying the information that you gave me.
But that this is public?
And
Have you ever heard of the term public school? That's just a yes or no. Have you ever heard?
That's why I'm not going to have a conversation with you,
Because
I'm trying to interact with you, and I'm trying to explain to you what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
The legal process that I'm trying to do, contacting the
Where'd you get your
supervisor
law degree from
and
then?
contacting the school district employees, so that we can get to the bottom of the information if you're actually allowed to be on property.
I have Dr. Ben's cell phone right here. I emailed them earlier today. Do you want to call them?
And so then we can go ahead and we can either allow you to do that, and I can get back in my car and go.
It's the First
or
Amendment.
If not, then we can go to proceed forward with
It's the First
trespassing,
Amendment.
and then the identification.
Do you
and
understand
then
that?
the warning.
Okay, do you understand for somebody to be
So it's
trespassed,
only one or
they
two.
have to be asked to leave? Do you understand that? This is a legal question. Do you understand that? I'm asking because I'm guessing you have no clue.
I think I've already tried to explain.
Has anybody asked me to leave? Has anybody asked me to
You're
leave?
being very uncooperative.
Oh my goodness. You know what? Your dereliction of duty. You're literally going to lose your qualified immunity for this. Violating civil rights is a federal offense. All right. And you know what? I'm going to go after your license too. I guarantee you, come tomorrow, there'll be a T-close investigation starting tomorrow. And you sit there like you don't care. I'm doing nothing. I'm on public property. I was holding the sign, waiting for my child at school. And you have a problem with that? Ridiculous.
Miss Stoner's right over there. They'll be with us in just a minute, and then we'll be able to conclude our interaction. Okay?
I know Stoner.
Thank you very much for being patient.
I know. No, but here's something else. This is important. You said I was detained. Do you know what the Supreme Court says the length of detainment should be? 10 minutes.
Okay. You're not detained.
Oh, okay. Amazing.
Okay.
Had I not even said that, it would have been another federal violation for you. You should look it up. It's
Thank you
10
very
minutes.
much. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, so I've got to ask you this. No, hold on. He detained me. I need to know what for my record. I need to know why I was detained. Come on, buddy. You just said I was breaking the law on public property.
Hallowed be thy name. We need a better tomorrow. So these freedom fighters risked their freedom for you. In this tyrannical world, we had to fight for you. Until we're victorious, to feel empowered, it feels glorious. So let's all stand up, come together, righteous warriors. The fate of the world is in your hands. Left, right, now, forever. Pick your cameras up, let's record together.